I saw it from the other side of the screen. I was the girl who had perfect selfies. They weren't perfect because they were perfect. They were perfect because I took about 100 photos before I found the perfect one. Hey guys, today I'm going to open a can of worms on camera with you guys on something that I had suppressed, repressed, and shut down for many years. Just because of so much pain that came with that experience. I always knew that there would come a day where this experience meant something more than just the pain. And today I feel inspired to share a part of that story, if not most of it, to maybe help you guys along your journey. So if you're somebody who watches influencer videos or you have beautiful accounts that you follow, lifestyle channels and stuff, this is for you. Also, if you're an influencer and you experience depression or anxiety about the whole pressure of being who you are, this is for you as well. This is for so many people. I can't even explain how many dimensions this story covers. I don't know that I will get into every detail of the story. There is so many elements and dimensions to it that honestly I may have not even explored in my own time, but I'm going to share what I feel is relevant to helping you guys and give you guys some insight into that world of fame. And I wasn't massive or anything like that, but I definitely did get a solid insight into that world. Okay, so when Instagram first kind of came out, I remember having conversations with people about how that's never going to be as big as Facebook. People weren't used to it yet, but it was definitely on the come up. I was in high school and I was around 15 or 16, I can't remember, but it was around that time of my youth. I wasn't like a super popular kid, but I also wasn't someone that was hiding in the shadows. I was kind of still coming out of the shock of the difference between primary school and high school. I knew it was going to be different, but I wasn't expecting it to be this different. And so many people were already changing so much, and I still felt like I wanted to just be at home watching cartoons. Then I started dating this guy, and around the time that I was just saying about the Instagram stuff, he dumped me. And I was devastated. You know, I was a kid that grew up on 3 to 4 to 5 Disney princess movies a day when I was a kid. I was so heavily influenced in my subconscious by the way that love was supposed to go and the way that, you know, your first love was supposed to go. Now that I look back, I can see how incompatible we are, and we would have been even back then, but I liked him. And to me, that was enough. Like, that was all that was needed, and I was willing to compromise everything to be with this guy and just get married and be at the end of the road. I can't believe that this was actually my thought process now that I look back, but it was. When he broke up with me, it was such a shock. I felt like my entire reality had shattered. I felt so stranded in the high school ocean. I guess I felt a bit more safer having a boyfriend, and I did everything to try to get him back with me. That meant going against a lot of my values and a lot of my true feelings. I was being dramatic. I would just beg him, and I really didn't know what sex was at that time in my life, and we didn't actually have sex with each other, but I even just offered that. I don't know exactly what I offered at that time. I was just so desperate for this to work out. I was shattered. I didn't know what was wrong with me. I didn't know why this wasn't working out. I didn't know why it wasn't a fairy tale. I was crushed. I still remember the pain that I felt. I was just so not okay after that. My mental health just went whacked out. I was not okay. And I guess it's like typical teen boys and girls. He really didn't know how to deal with it. He kind of started hating on me a little bit, and then he just ignored me. Got with someone like the next week. It was a very teen situation, but from the perspective of teen me, it was devastating. So after that, there was a lot of trying to pick myself back up. I didn't really know how to find my feet again in high school and in life. I didn't feel strong. I didn't feel loved. I felt rejected. I felt pushed to the side. And the reason I'm telling you guys this part of the story is because I want you to know how insecure the base of my fame was. So I'm just going to skip a chunk of the story and just skip to the part where I changed my profile picture to this photo of me in a bikini and shorts. And honestly, I'm being completely honest here. I was not expecting things to go the way that they went. I really just wanted to feel liked again. Like, of course I wanted a like or two. You know, I was very insecure. I wanted other people to validate me. My intention definitely wasn't to become famous. And overnight, that photo got like 100 likes. And back in those days, 100 likes was like unheard of. Like, that was just, you were a next caliber of social status if you had 100 likes. And I remember waking up and just being like, what the hell? And that was on Facebook. And I remember forgetting about my ex. It was like a drug. It was seriously like a drug. As soon as I saw I had 100 likes, I was like, well, don't need him. I have these likes. Now I'm going to speed up the story. From there, it just snowballed. I jumped on Instagram. I became obsessed with the way that I looked, and I relied upon that image of myself to provide me with that drug to fill that void from that pain all the way from that first relationship. Although it didn't feel 100% right, I kept doing it. I would spend days just taking photos and doing my makeup and learning how to enhance my image because it was always positively received. People would message me and comment on my photos saying, you're so beautiful, you're so hot, you're so sexy, as I started to get a bit older, like 16, 17. Anytime that I would remember the heartbreak, I would just post a photo. I would feel better again for some time, and I just kept going like that. So the Instagram account ended up having like, I don't know, I honestly can't remember. It may have been 45K, I don't know. It was enough to be like, okay, you have a lot of eyes on you. And I liked that at that time of my life. I liked it. I'm saying I liked it, but it's like the way that you like a drug that really isn't good for you. I used it as a means to avoid the pain that I was truly feeling inside, which was all the way from when I was 15. The first half of that Instagram fame was really positive. People at school started paying attention to me, and I raised social status above my ex, and I felt, better about that. I felt like, okay, well, he didn't want me, but look at me now kind of feeling. But it never felt right. I kind of knew that what I was doing wasn't healthy for me, but I did not want to face that pain ever again. And I was doing everything to avoid it. And again, in the same way that I did when I was trying to stop him from breaking up with me, I was sacrificing my values. I was posting photos of myself and probably causing a lot of insecurity for other girls. I remember I'd post a photo of me with full makeup, with my extension clips in at that time of my life, and the caption would be just woke up. Even if the people looking at the photo knew that I hadn't just woken up, obviously, there would still be a seed of insecurity that I was planting into those girls. So over time, I built this image, this perfect image of myself that was so not true. What I wanted to talk to you guys about was who I was behind the perfect account that was out in the world. I had these beautiful pictures on my Instagram of the perfect body, perfect smile, perfect hair, perfect makeup, and I wasn't like that. I was like that online, but I wasn't like that in person. And anytime I left the house to see anyone new or even just go to school, I had to meet that standard of perfection that felt so uncomfortable and so impossible to even reach most of the time. And every day for me at that time in my life was full of anxiety. I would have an anxiety attack or a panic attack, or I would just faint, I would collapse. I was in a constant state of anxiety because I didn't know who I was. My strength and my security relied upon people that I didn't even know. That's the definition of insecurity. And so many people out there on the other side of the account thought that I was living this amazing life. Looking at it from an outsider's perspective, could only see those images of me. Those were the only images of myself that I was putting out. So the reason I wanted to share that with you guys who may be following people is knowing that that's not real. Not that it's on influencers to, share everything with you if they don't want to, but as a consumer of the content, it's your responsibility to remember this is 0.00001% of their entire life. And times have changed, I'm not saying that this totally copies and pastes into the now, but I saw it from the other side of the screen. I was that girl that had perfect selfies. They weren't perfect because they were perfect. They were perfect because I took about 100 photos before I found the perfect one. And even before that, I made sure my makeup was perfect. I made sure my hair was perfect. I made sure my outfit was perfect. I might upload a photo and this top looks like it fits me perfect. That's because I had pulled it and tied it from the back. There was so much going on behind the scenes that nobody saw. And I was just a little guy. I was just some girl in high school. So you can only imagine what's going on with these bigger, more powerful beauty influencers. There is so much more to it than meets the eye, and I'm telling you as someone who's been on the other side, and someone who, I wasn't super rich or anything at that time. There are people who out there who are influencing you who are super, super rich and have the resources to put on a mask of anything they want to put on. I think that the solution lays in your responsibility as a consumer to consume consciously and know that you can be inspired by these images, but know that there is a whole other side to their life that you aren't being welcomed into. And if you're to blame them, if you're to blame the person, you're just hurting yourself. You're not taking responsibility for yourself. They've got problems in their life to have to maintain that image. And as I said with the start of my story, I felt so rejected. I felt so not beautiful that I felt like I needed that validation from people. I'm not saying that every big Instagram account or influencer has come off an insecure base. Of course, it's fine to post photos of yourself and whatever, but I'm really talking about a specific energy behind these accounts and these influencers. Now, a message to the influencers, as somebody who's been on the other side, I can imagine I wasn't anywhere near as big as you might be now, but my advice is, if you don't feel comfortable being who you are online in the public world, if that takes a lot of effort to do, I suggest you maybe show a bit more authenticity in your content so that you don't have to feel so anxious every time you leave the house. You don't have to feel like every free time you have has to be put towards keeping up that perfect image that you created. Nobody else expects that of you except you. You made it. You made it happen. In the end, I deleted the account thanks to this weird epiphany I had with my auntie. I started rebuilding my life from there in a whole different way. I'm very grateful for that. I felt like I ripped the mask off and I could finally figure out what was there beyond that. So on both ends, as the consumer and as the influencer, my main message is take responsibility. Take responsibility for what you absorb, for what you put out, for who you be, for how you act, for how you treat yourself. And it's hard for me to talk about. But that's just a micro slice of that massive story. I'm processing my own things as I'm telling this story. As I said, it's not something that I've spoken about a lot. Maybe there'll be more of this story as we go along, but I'll only talk about it as it's needed. Remember that there is a whole lot more to the story than you realize. So thank you guys for watching. This was a bit of a different video, I know, but the message is still the same. It's all about the process. It's all about how to go about living life. And I trust that me sharing my process will help you with yours. Thank you so much, guys.